shore up the power-ups.
And it's game time. KinX5 here with Facial one more time. It's going to bring in map 2 of this MLUT match between Team SaSSy and 7th Degree. We just saw an overtime game get grinded out with SaSSy pulling the only cap across in overtime. We see a quick grab coming out by Blimpo, and he's doing exactly what we thought he might do, and going back to some of that piston offense, and already getting back towards his own base. Orange, however, able to make a move and get out Shock. I haven't even had time to turn off my music. This game has started so quickly, so we're going to get that turned back down and get you right back into the game sounds.
Able to take the first amp of the game, so that's going to help him out quite a bit.
Orange now kind of meandering his way across mid, being very patient, waiting for his cover to get in position for a pickup. But it looks like that return gets back to stand. You know, this is kind of reminiscent of November so far, in that we're seeing both flags moving very quickly early on. We see Blimpo now pistoning back into his base low. He has enough health now. Well, no, had enough health to piston back to his flag stand, but Red took care of that in a hurry.
Yeah, some nice body blocking by the return team there. As we're going to see a fight for the 100 shield coming up here soon. We've got another about 20 seconds to go on that amp to spawn.
Yeah, it looks like blue team is already set up on that 100 armor. So they know how important these power-ups in mid are going to be, especially with someone like Blimpo. So he gets a nice headshot to clear that out. So Blimpo may be going in to grab again. We're seeing him really play a true swingman kind of position here this map, where he's holding off in mid, doing some damage, grabbing power-ups, and then going in on fully on offense. So a little bit more of an aggressive sort of positioning for him this game.
Yeah, that swing player I feel is more effective on this map than maybe playing a traditional mid, because it actually allows you to make a difference on both ends of the map depending on where your team needs. And we're actually going to see an amp fight here, as looks like Danny is waiting on it.
Here we see Nanum. He's actually playing offense this game. I wonder who else is who switched over to defense. Danny able to take that amp. I'm going to follow him with it as he damages himself via gravity. So he's going to put himself in position to try to cover his flag carriers. He's making his way out of their base. Blimpo takes him out, though, so let's follow this carrier. It's going to be Orange going straight down in mid, and that's one of those sort of killing areas we talked about. Leaving enemy base, they're going to be just waiting for you in mid. A lot of times you'll see flag runners double back and sort of be patient and try to give their cover time to set up out there and clear it out.
And Orange was actually able to grab that 100 shield on his way through mid, as he is able to grab that flag and head towards the enemy low, as he's back through 100 thanks to some nice piston jumps.
Down to 14 health now. They've done a ton of damage to him. GS3K already ready for that pickup. That's good timing right there. Had his translocator out before he even died. Back in his own flag room. However, blue team is completely occupied, so they're waiting to time this return, but they really need to worry about clearing that base out, because that time return is not going to happen if blue's all over their base. Shower getting the double kill. Going to need to keep relaying this flag, though, because they're just not getting the frags here, as blue is still all over their base. They're able to get that return. Meanwhile, B-Banks pushed out to mid, but he was really just keeping that flag moving to prevent the cap.
Yeah, the one thing we're seeing from blue there on a lot of those kills is they weren't getting that translocator out to get to that flag as soon as possible. They were just more, comfortable, shooting the pickups. And Danny's actually able to grab another amp, his second in a row.
Yeah, it looks like you're effectively going to see Blimpo versus Danny for these amps again. Although we did see GS3K for SaSSy pushing up and grabbing 1 or 2 in November. On the whole, I would say Team SaSSy probably did a better job of contesting the amp in mid.
Blue flag carrier is in his base low as he's looking to make that piston jump up to his base.
And no one on red. There we go. Finally, Chowie ends up grabbing that flag. Not a natural flag runner here. He's probably going to go down fairly quickly. You see B-Banks being very patient, not getting too close to his stand because it's pretty exposed. And it's blue now. Wow, winning this fight. So Danny doing a ton of damage, though, getting that flag down, and they can't quite get that return. See Nanum in a nice pickup right there at the last second. Finally, that flag gets back.
Fro actually had the flag and got his translocator out to get another pickup, but he didn't realize he had the flag. And that was another instance where we saw Danny was more than happy to just keep killing pickup after pickup. I think he took down at least 6 carriers right there on that instance.
Yeah, it's sort of a tricky double-edged sword there, because if you focus on getting kills, then you're obviously going to put yourself in a position to miss that pickup. But not every person can have their translocator out. At some point, you have to have some damage output, and they just couldn't get that together. We see a scorched earth on the amp, I think.
Yeah, Blimpo and Danny actually both took each other out, going for that amp. That amp is still up.
I thought I heard it taken. I think one of them may have grabbed it, unless you're seeing it up.
I saw it up, but I think it was just bugged on my screen because after someone ran by it.
I thought I heard it taken, and so I'm thinking that's what happened. Is they probably just grabbed it and then double KO right onto it. So we see Danny grabbing with a little bit of armor. He's going to get himself out to mid. Shots come in. He has line of sight broken between some of the defenders. He can piston into his base. We will see a pickup by Zeos. He's going to try to piston the flag stand. Needs some cover to get onto him quickly. Their base is going to be exposed, though, as their defender has the flag in his hands, and there's no one able to get that pickup. They were on him, but they got body blocked by the return man. So good job by Blue of securing that.
In what I like to call a nice blowout hockey game, a nice goalie fight a la flag carrier versus flag carrier.
Meanwhile, Nanum, this high route across mid is kind of hard to get up to. It's a longer route to set up, but once you do, it's a quicker route back into base. Blimpo goes down, pissing into his stand, and wow, the very last shot Red got on him was able to return that flag. So we're seeing these flags going back across the map really fast right now, but neither team able to secure their base long enough to get this cap.
Direct rockets to the face was actually able to stop that piston before it actually took place, and was able to keep that flag home.
And blue team seems to think, yeah, blue team just picked up that 100 arm. I'm going to watch Danny with his amp as he goes in and tries to disrupt the defense. Blimpo actually followed him back into base. So I see Blimpo once again swinging all the way back from defense to offense. It can be very useful if you're in the right place at the right time, like we say, but at the same time, really the way to judge a middleman, a swingman like that, if you will, is how much downtime he has in this map, because it takes time to go back and forth between offense and defense, and if you find yourself having, you know, seconds and seconds and seconds at a time where you're not doing anything, then you know, you're really better off playing one of the two positions. I think, or one of the two other sides of the map. And I think that's how you really judge a good middleman.
Yeah, and you know, this map is really long, and what I'm seeing Blue attempt to do, at least from my perspective, is they're doing a lot of, you know, just quick runs, cherry picks, not necessarily in position to cover each other or get stacked up and group up when they're grabbing, and unfortunately their hair's on fire when they're leaving the flag room a lot, so.
It looks like the 100 armor got taken, but it was pretty much neutralized. There was a big fight over. So both teams now able to contest, at the very least, the 100 armor. I'm not sure how much the amps have been contested. Did you get a view on that at all so far?
I've been kind of watching amp, and there's been some good fights over it, but it seems like red has been the team that's been taking it the most. It's actually getting ready to spawn, I think, here within the next 10-15 seconds, as we see both Danny and Blimpo. Blimpo's actually able to grab it this time.
Yeah, I think Danny had to jump down to try to get a pickup. His team was actually running the flag down right by there. So B-Banks actually picked up this amp.
Okay.
He's going to take that on offense. Gets a kill on Zeos, waiting for his team to get a grab. I was hoping he would go amp dual assault rifle, but he opts for a minigun instead.
Yes, this is the map where you can pick up a dual assault rifle, because there actually is a pickup for the assault rifle.
Yep. Primary fire, not such a big tool, but I tell you what, those grenades you can spam can be a real nuisance.
Definitely, yeah. That you can get bounced around with those. Danny is actually able to pick up the 100 shield and take it on offense.
See Nanum covering his way across mid, gets headshotted though, and a quick return by Chowie. I think we're seeing from both teams is they're having trouble getting cover in position for any sustained period of time. Credit the defenses too for shredding the cover. Sometimes you're better off shooting at the cover than the flag carrier to clear out and get easy shots on the flag runner. And I think that may be what we're seeing here. Red dropping all the way back. I'm going to go ahead and watch some defense by Chowie. And I know I talked to Chowie the other day, and he was... Alright, I'm going to go ahead and switch to that. I talked to Chowie the other day, and he was still kind of getting comfortable with this map and trying to figure out where to drop his trans. And I don't know if he's decided on a spot yet. He's still kind of playing around with it, but he's looking pretty comfortable in this map already. He's moving around and making a lot of translocator mid-air shots and whatnot. But right now he's chasing Nanum, who gets back into his base. He had the 100 armor. He's down to 65 health. He's going to go down. Could they get this pickup? No. Wow, if they would have got that pickup, they would have been one piston away from taking the lead for the first time in this match.
Yeah, and we're definitely seeing a lot more flag grabs in this map than we were in November, which kind of leads to the flow of the map. Not necessarily a lot of caps, but we're at least seeing a lot more action.
Yeah, exactly. You get a lot more transition game on this map just because of how exposed that flag room is. So many ways in and out.
Nice standoff here, as actually Blue was able to get back to their base again.
Oh, wow. We saw a last second. I think that may have been a timed return that they tried to do. Got a last second grab to keep him off the stick, and they're able to get that return.
Chowie with a beautiful trans.
I'm not even sure who that was able to sneak in and get that grab, but that's going to be huge. When we go back and look at that demo wreck, that may be something we look at depending on which team wins here as affecting the outcome directly. We're still a tie game here, just past the halfway point, and both teams have had some good opportunities, but that you don't get any closer than that one. He had 1 foot on the stand, and Red was able to jump in there, pull that flag away, and then of course, flag carrier gets killed and it gets returned right after that.
Absolutely. At the halfway point, it may be a little early to call that a map-saving pickup, but you know what? The way that this map can snowball and the way morale can get down after something like that, it definitely could be.
Yeah, that's one of those where your defenders are going, oh god, oh god, oh god, yes. And you can definitely feel a sigh of relief coming through whenever you get a last-second denial in return like that.
Oh, it can amp an entire team up. And actually, speaking of amp was just taken. I don't see who grabbed it, but I did hear it get picked up.
Well, I was watching Danny. He just grabbed 100 armor. He was the only one on it, so timing has broken down a little bit. I think with one thing that you see with all these flags moving is sometimes people don't have the time to double-check the power-ups, and you end up losing timing. And right now, Red Team at least has 100 timing, but of course Blue may have heard it taken and may be able to contest the next one. Orange now dancing around, not really going anywhere yet, probably waiting. I know we saw Danny back in his base picking up armor. He actually has, the blue team has 3 blue behind him, so they were able to get that shot, but if they missed that, they would have been in trouble. See, Danny, I believe, just picked up amp again, right?
He did, yep. And he is on cover immediately as his flag carrier comes right past him.
Yep, GS3K is going to be swag. He's back in his own base. Nobody from blue is grabbing this flag. And Danny able to get a multi-kill, and yeah, that's just good timing right there. They had that amp for cover, and no one on blue was able to get an emergency pull there. And that's probably the easiest run from your front door to your stand you'll ever see on this map.
Absolutely. Ganjo, or I guess GS3K as he prefers to be called these days, was able to grab that flag, head right to the enemy shock rifle, piston up to the flak, hit one more piston. As soon as he hit mid, he just had some nice amped cover, nothing like a couple of F-18s guiding you home.
So we're looking at still about a third of this map remaining. Blue has had plenty of opportunities here, so you're not gonna say they don't have the chance or need to. It's not time to panic yet, in other words. But they may need to start looking at being a little bit more aggressive once they get the map into mid.
And Blue actually had a pretty good run going there. They were able to get the enemy flag all the way in through 100 shield, and that was basically one of the worst bottlenecks they could have imagined, as 3 of the red team were able to translocate in front of them and just rain down rockets from above.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting decisions you have to make on this map, is if you try to run through 100 armor and get that pickup mid-run, you're also going to be in the most exposed and predictable flag route.
Amp is up right now, and it's been sitting up for a good 6-7 seconds with nobody actually waiting for it.
Blue now pushing this map across, or this flag across the map. Their flag is missing. The entire red team is in mid. They have 1 person in their own in the base, 2 now red in their base. So they're going to need to clear that out. Nanum's going to go down. Will they get this pickup here? Nobody able to get it. So a couple of chances Blue has had in their own base and not able to get key pickups. You wonder if that's a communication issue, or maybe they're just not having any luck here.
And Zaios was actually able to grab that amp after both of those flags were off the stand after a delayed 37 seconds of that amp being alive. So it's effective to say that timing on that is definitely gone for one team.
That's true. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as the rest as you see a quick flag, taking out the flag carrier there. Orange moving it again. No armor, 100 health though. He's going to try to outrun Blue across the map as they're going to damage his shield down, cut him off. Gets a kill for himself. He's going to be in good shape to get towards his front door, but of course Blue's going to be able to outrun him back to his flag stand for now. Goes down. Red team once again getting some really good pickups. We've seen that on both maps, and now they're in position again. He can't piston to his stand. Blue's going to get a grab. Going to go down. There's the return, and Blue team there was in position to get a grab, but just couldn't quite get there in time. Red going up 2-0, really on the backs of what we've been seeing all match, which is power-up control and getting those timely pickups.
I think what you have to speak to in that specific occasion right there was Red Team's ability to maintain defense on return, offense on cover. Nobody actually left that flag carrier, no matter how big of a cluster there was inside that base, which is amazing communication and teamwork by the Red Team there.
Yeah, it takes good discipline, because sometimes you think, you start getting those thoughts in your head of, I can get this mega kill, I can get this, but at times you just have to make the smart play and go with really the predetermined role that you've been assigned to play.
Yep, Ganja's able actually to grab this flag, I guess GS3K rather, or not the flag, I guess the amp, as he's going to take that on offense, and actually cover as Danny comes out of the opponent's shock rifle with that flag.
Yeah, I had Danny on camera as he came into this base, and he's about to go in with basically a full stack. I mean, he was absolutely as stacked as a flag runner typically can get on this version of this map. And while it didn't really, work out for him, any time that Red has Blue's flag in their hands in this map, that's a step towards victory, because if nothing else, they're causing them to turn around and not be as aggressive as they try to bottle up their own flag. And Danny with 100 armor again, and once again, getting damaged pretty heavily, probably not going to go anywhere with it, but able to cause the blue team fits. You see a multi-kill coming out by Orange now, a mega kill by Orange. He's going to piston out in the mid, but no cover as they had actually already died.
Yeah, and the one thing that you're definitely seeing here, at least for the blue team, is already being down 2 caps. You kind of have faith in your offense, you kind of have faith in your defense, but you lose a little bit when you're down 2 kills, so your offense is going to have a tendency to drop back and try to lend a hand when possible.
Yeah, and with 4 minutes left, I think it's about time, though, for them to push someone else up. Unlike last map, we're seeing a big kills and deaths net difference here, as both flag carriers kind of pass each other in mid. Blue team able to win this fight. They're going to be back in their own base. Flag carrier is very weak, but he can get to his stand if they can get one more kill on the stick. Red able to get in front. They're going to cause another fight. Blue needs to win one more fight here. They're not going to get this pickup, or they do get the pickup, but he's going to go down, and Red team able to get that clutch return again. So Blue with another opportunity there, just couldn't get the pickups and couldn't get their base clear. It's been the story of the whole match.
I think what you saw there was a really fantastic translocator pickup by Corky after the flag carrier went down on stick. He was bounced away from the flagpole, and then it just became a mess of, well, who's going to cover, who's going to go on return, and everybody kind of left him for dead as he dropped low below the flag.
Yeah, kind of the opposite of what we what you pointed out in the last run for Red, which is to say positions broke down when things got chaotic. And
it
people
definitely can get chaotic when a defender is able to make that pickup. I mean, at that point, when you're that close to the flag, you don't care who makes that pickup as long as somebody does, but you have to be able to communicate during that massive shouting that you know is happening on TeamSpeak.
Right, and so we're seeing, again, both flags were moving, both teams with some opportunities. We're still back, though. Both flags are back. I did catch Nanum was able to grab that amp last time, so blue team now, at the very least, has timing on the amp. And if they're going to try to make a comeback run here, that's something that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes to go. I think you're definitely going to see Blue make a switch in their strategy just to try to at least take one map from these guys in this Week 2 matchup.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to be more aggressive. We already see Red Team being more defensive as Danny now is effectively playing a mid-roll, deathmatching around the amp right now, trying to take out as much blue as possible and just do as much damage as possible. Amp comes up. He's going to grab that. I'll be curious to see if he takes that on cover or if he kind of falls back and tries to take out Blue's offense as they try to cross this map. He decides to do the latter. He's actually covering his flag carrier back into his base. As Zeos again has his flag, and if they can get this return, he can get a second cap of the match. Orange in his own base, he can get to his flag stand. This will be the dagger. 3-0.
Really nice to see there is even though Zeos is a defensive player, he is able to get that pickup. The offense still stuck with him. The team on Red really is disciplined in understanding what their positions are and communicating really well in those clusters.
Yeah, and that's interesting to see. If I'm not mistaken, Team SaSSy does have a few people that have played in Mlut together in previous seasons, and I think maybe you're seeing some of that come into play. People who are just more comfortable playing together than maybe some of these other teams.
Yeah, that very well could be a position that we're in, or maybe that just might have spoken to the aggressiveness that Blue tried to play, and this double-edged sword with the aggressive strategy is it can either work out fantastic or it can bite you just like it just did.
Yeah, I mean pulling your goalie is a risk reward situation, and pretty much don't have a choice. I mean once you get to that threshold where you say, well, you need a miracle to happen, you have nothing to lose, so you might as well push some extra forward, and maybe you'll get those extra kills and pull a miracle off, and a lot of times, like we see, the game actually just ends up snowballing away, but there's really no other option.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a catch-22. Either you do it or you don't. You've already got the map lost if you don't, and you may actually have a chance to win it if you do. So, 30 seconds to go on this map. They haven't really been able to break through a whole lot with the flag run so far. Pretty much game over for Blue at this point.
Yeah, and looking at these nets, obviously not the most important of stats, but when you look at them, it really speaks to how effective Red's cover has been. And I don't think it's necessarily been that they had the one-on-one fragging advantage by a huge amount, so much as I think they always had the numbers. I mean, red team was always in position to cover, and so I think you saw their flag runners in positions where they were fighting 3-on-1, 3-on-2, and never getting caught out alone.
Yeah, definitely. That and the fact that I think red team just wanted to be like my team and finally take 2 maps away from a game.
Yep, only the second time we've seen that so far in this Mlut. Zeos with 7 headshots on there.